Hello, SolarLune here. How's everybody doing? Hi. So yes, hello, I am SolarLune. I'm an independent game developer and musician and artist and stuff. And today I'm going to be working on my project planning tool, MasterPlan. Indeed. So let's take a look at that and see if we can get it improving. Excuse me. So what I'm working on, what I've been working on over the past couple days is I've been re-implementing URL parsing. So basically you can type in something like itch.io or Google or something and click on it, click on the text, and it will take you to the website, whatever website you type in. But what I wanted to add was basically something that allows you to see like a little icon in the description of the website. So for example, you type in Google, it should, there it goes. It should basically say what the website does. Actually, it's support. There it goes. Yeah. So what I would like to do is actually have the text wrap, which I have never or have yet to actually implement. But that's the idea. That's the general idea. Is it should basically, and the text is kind of messed up because I'm working on it. But that's the idea, is that basically it should allow you to see the name. Back to small camera. Is my camera small? I mean, I can change the size of the camera. This is the same good camera, but the camera might be small, kind of in the corner, which I think is fine. I think it's fine to have it be a little small. It doesn't have to be super big. Hello to everyone in chat. Purple Alpaca Coding, Vadim, Butler Studios. Hello to everybody. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be working on today. Let me get some music going actually before I forget. But yeah, that's what I've been working on for the past couple days, but getting the text to wrap is something that I've yet to do properly, so I'm going to be working on that. Okay, that should be pretty good, I think. Actually, I'll leave that up. There we go. Okay, so yeah, we're getting information from the website that you type in, so everything's working okay. It's just a matter of actually, well, everything's working kind of okay. Kind of okay. The core concept is there. We'll put it that way. Butler says, do you see the problems you deal with these days? Encoding is easy. Like, they require effort, but they aren't hard to figure out. Yeah, I guess so. You could say that. I don't think I have too much of an issue with figuring out the problems in my code. It's mostly just an issue of trying to figure out, like, the right way to design it. Like, the actual coding process isn't hard. It's just like, how should this work? That's the real issue. Situations where it's like, oh, I'm not sure, you know, how should this work? Where should this go? How should this, you know, what are the controls that should be exposed to me as the user of this API I'm designing? You know, how, like, what should this function do? And how should I interact with it? That kind of, those are kinds of the things that are like, things that are questionable, but in terms of like actually implementing it, it's not really that hard. It's just a matter of like trying to figure out how to solve it rather than how to implement it. Let me actually, it's kind of a jam. This is a classic. All right. So yeah, the core problem here, I think, is that when I made this function to render text, it renders it basically assuming the width and height is kind of predetermined, which it may not be. The width and height should kind of change depending on really the output, the result. Uh, let's see. Purple says opposite of a platforming game where you know where what to do. What you do is easy to know, but it's doing it is hard. I don't know. I feel like all programming is kind of similar in that once you figure out, like, it's not so hard to implement things. It's harder to conceptualize the solution. So it's like, oh, I want the player to land on a platform. How should he do that? You know, that's the hard part. But once you figure out, like, oh, I need to make a collision grid, and you know, this is how it is. It's a tile-based game, so it needs to be a grid-based game. You know, the backing grid is going to hold my data. You know, once you kind of like figure all that out, the actual implementation is pretty simple because you know what you need to do. At least in my experience, that seems to be easier. Vadim says, could you recommend any Golang books for beginners? Not really. I don't usually use Golang books that much. I use just Googling for problems, and for like learning the language, I liked learnxinYminutes.com because I thought it was pretty good. It kind of hits the spot in terms of like being relatively easy to read. It presents all of the things you can do as basically a single like source program, so you can just like look through it and kind of examine, you know, like how the language works and its features and things. And it gives you a nice overview of different languages, so you don't have to learn everything, but you can basically use what you learn on that website for whatever language to kind of like get a running start. It's pretty good. Coding is almost 2 jobs: thinking of the appropriate solution given the constraints, and typing the code out in the right places once you have the solution. Yeah, it feels like the first half is the harder half. Thinking of the appropriate solution given the constraints. Thanks. No problem, Vadim. Glad to be of assistance. Also, the Golang slice tricks. This isn't super, like, this is kind of more further in, like, details, but this is a cool little infographic for, when you're, like, doing stuff with slices. It's easy to kind of be, like, mind flooded. So it's very nice to, yeah, it's very nice to have a little, you know, cheat sheet you can look at to basically show you, like, oh yeah, this is how slices work, and this is how you can copy things between slices. Yeah, it's a little more detail oriented, but that's still useful. I'm putting these links in the chat, by the way, for anyone who might be watching and wondering what I'm talking about. Check the chat. Okay, so yeah, the current situation. Current situation is we're going to I kind of want to rework some of this code to just be better. Because fundamentally, we're writing text to a... You know what? Let me try something. Hold up. Okay. So what I'm doing here, I'm rendering text directly to the screen rather than rendering it to a texture first, because I want to see what how long it takes. I want to see basically, is it even worth implementing this render result system? So let's see. So we're rendering a lot of stuff here. Let's see. Create is here. Create is here. So this is basically how much time we're taking. Okay. Okay. So what I want to do is basically see how much time we're really taking here. Let's see. Time. Milliseconds. I'm not sure if this is a picosecond or a microsecond. Picosecond. It's not a nanosecond. Microsecond. Or is it a nanosecond? I don't quite remember. Okay, this is a microsecond. So a microsecond then goes up to a nanosecond? No. And I'm just trying to find some sort of thing that shows like microsecond or millisecond. Hello, Tabundi. Yeah, no. Here we go. Okay. So millisecond is here. Okay. All right, so it's getting smaller. Okay. So millisecond is here. Then microsecond, then nanosecond. Okay. Okay, got it. So this is microsecond. All right. So we're spending, if we do it just directly, if we directly do this, we're spending 12/7. So let me just break out the calculator. Six, 22, 8, 13, 12, 13, 15, 18, 20, 13. That's 261 microseconds. So that's basically 0.261 milliseconds. So it's not that slow to just render stuff directly. And then we don't have to really worry too much about it. I wonder if that's worth the effort, or if that's good. But it's also interesting that it doesn't seem to really be tied to the length of the text. It seems like it's always roughly the same speed. It's always between 8, basically between 5 and 30 microseconds. So I wonder if like you have a really long brick of text, if that would take longer to render. Let's try this. Smash Battles is high as well. Hello. Oh. Okay. All right, so what we're doing here, we're trying to see if basically okay. So this took 560. Okay, so it is actually taking more time to render this. Wonder if we can speed it up, because I'm basically my text rendering system is kind of trash. It works, but it's not as good as it could be. Yeah. So I mean, like, if I sped this up, then maybe I wouldn't even have to have a render system where you render things to a texture. That's the current system for rendering a lot of text. It renders it to a texture and then goes from there, which is okay. But the problem with that is, one, it doesn't work that well. My current implementation doesn't work that well. Two, it requires that you have a big graphics card. Like if you, or a good graphics card, like if you have a big text block, that's gonna make the graphics card render up, like create a big texture for your text. So like the right way to do that, I suppose, and also this gets clearer as you zoom in if you have if we're rendering the text directly. So we might just end up doing this. This might be the better approach. It's varying between half and 1 millisecond, so that's not good, but at the same time the quality is better and we have more control over the way it works too. Zyok says hello. Hello. Alright, so here's what we're gonna do, because this is okay, but I feel like it could definitely be better. I'd like to see quick render text. I wonder if the slowdown is coming from measuring the text, because that definitely could be the case. Direct render is slightly lower, but it really reduces memory usage. Yeah, I think it would be. Carl says you might consider using the Ableton render mode that only renders when needed. I'm not using Ableton actually for this. I'm using Go SDL2, which is SDL, the Go bindings for SDL, specifically because I need, what's the word? I need IME support. It took a little bit of time for that synapse holding that memory to travel, send the electrical signals through my brain to my mental cortex. Not my mental cortex, because I know that doesn't exist, but my verbal cortex. Anyway, yeah, I'm using SDL2 because I need IME support so that I can like actually type, you know, in stuff in other languages, which I don't think actually works that well, ironically, but that's fine for now. Either I'll fix it later, or I think it works okay, but it's not like perfect. I think for Japanese, you can only type text of a certain length. Like you can't just type and press enter and add it all. You have to type like individual words or something, because I think if it exceeds a certain number of bytes, it no longer, like it gets cut off, which is unusable, unfortunately, but I don't think there's anything I can do about that. I think it's SCL. Anyway, yeah, we could reduce memory and GPU usage by just rendering directly, which might be better, because that way I mean, you can definitely see the result. You can definitely see it looks better if we... Let me actually roll back some of these changes. Let me just abandon the changes I did there. Actually, let's see how it would be if we rendered something like this. Was that? Okay, that was always commented out. All right. Okay. So yeah, when you zoom in, I think this is using the old render system, or no, it's using both. Hold on. Okay, so this is the old render system, yeah. So when you zoom in, you can see the text has a pretty definitive, like, crappiness. I mean, it's okay. It's completely readable. It's fine. But in comparison, if we do this, it's much clearer at high resolutions. Like, you zoom in and the text is basically perfect, which is great. That's really good. But I mean, it's gonna be a much slower result, which kind of makes it unusable. Kind of. Let's copy some of this text so we can see how this works. The URL parsing didn't like that. Is that because URL button is nil? You can render and cache it until zoom changes. That's true. That's true, I could. How is that ever nil? Let's see. I see. There we go. Zydex says, what are you currently working on? I'm working on URL button parsing, which also means I'm working on the text, which is bad currently. It's not as good as it could be. Let's see, this is taking 1.7 milliseconds to draw. That's not good. We definitely can't use that. It's way too slow. We definitely can't use this direct system. Not for all the text. We can use it for some of the text, but not for all of it. It's just too slow. So we have to render it, so that's fine. So we'll stick with the current rendering system, at least the current concept for the rendering system. Now, the current problem is we want the text max expand. We want the text to basically, we want to be able to say it should be this wide, and then basically it sets the height automatically. That's what we want. Why is it always 32? Yeah, width, height, width, height. Let's see, because width is the width of the line, maximum width of the line, and then the height is the line skip times per line. Yeah. Okay. So the core problem that we're having here, I believe, whoops, is that essentially we don't know how big the texture should be until we draw it, but we need to know how big it is before we draw it. So I guess what we need to do there's a couple ways to do this, but I'm thinking that what we might need to do is basically loop through. Yeah, we just need to rewrite this code essentially. We need to rewrite it. It was fine, but like, we need better than fine. We need good. What we want to have happen is basically, Rashad Z says, yo, what's up? Hello. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for stopping by. Yeah, what we basically want to have happen for the render text system is we want to be able to provide it text, provide it word wrap information, and basically have it draw as you might expect. So let's see if we can just kind of start with that. We're just going to crib some of this code, but not all of it. You know what? We're not going to crib any of it. Rashad Z says, so pretty much refactoring how word wrapping works. Yeah, the reason why I'm doing this really is because primarily it was fine. Like, I was working with it, I was working around it, or just dealing with it. Not really dealing with it, just, you know, it worked a certain way, and I didn't like it, but it wasn't problematic. But now I need the text to dynamically wrap, because I'm adding URL parsing, and it basically needs to be able to say like, oh, Google's a search engine. You can do whatever, and the title of a web page or the description of a web page might be longer or shorter, and so the text needs to wrap depending on how much information is there. So we will. I guess we could say. Okay. I guess we'd also just say defer. Okay. So now we want to do C dot or oh, these are characters, right. Runes. So glyph equals tr dot glyphs C dot width. Globals render copy xf. Width nil dest. Copy. Okay. All right, so we should basically be there. But I think we need to create the... Yeah, we have to recreate it. Okay. So here's where we get a little tripped up. We need to know the width and height of the texture before we create it. So I'm going to start off with just creating a texture of some width and height, 999. So we can actually just see if it works, which it currently kind of does. Okay. Oh, we have to, yeah. And then once we're done, render. Oh, result. Image. Okay, that's set. Result dot text lines equals. Why did I do this like this? Okay. So we're building it out slowly but surely. You can see the text is there. It's gray. Now it's white. That's weird. Okay. I'm gonna assume it's because I have to set the color mod. Carl says, what are you using for font rendering? There's a lib Go SDL TTF that can return expected size. I'm using Go SDL. I'm not using TTF, but the size is already set. Like I'm doing it myself basically. I'm generating. I'm rendering letters, all the glyphs in a font to textures, which are basically objects that I made, and then like kind of wrapping objects that I made that also have the size set there. The height is always one line, and then the width is basically the aspect ratio of that height multiplied by the width of the character, or the aspect. Yeah, you get the idea. Basically, like all the characters are proportional to how big they should be according to the font, but they're scaled down to fit into a single line in MasterPlan. Set blend mode or alpha. There you go. I also would like to do like color coding. There we go. It's better. Okay, so this is working. It's not horrible just yet. All right. There's characters that just aren't showing up. Text that just isn't showing up at all. I don't remember why that might be. Let's see. Oh, they're like one. They're tiny. Okay. I've done that as well. Certainly quick. Did that for Telnet program. Yeah, that seems like the kind of the best way to do it / only way to like do it and have it be pretty good. Okay, so let me see. Am I missing anything? It's a new line. We can just kick it down. What? Yeah. The cool one says, "Yo, what up? How's it going?" Let's see. New line. Oh, continue. There we go. All right, so this does work to some extent. Let's see. C is equal to new line. Reset. Y plus equal. Let's see. Obtain. Okay. Word wrapping. All right. Copy. There we go. Let's see. So that works fine, except for the characters. They're not right. This is fine, that's fine. But once we get to this point, we can't select this character. Why might that be? Do we have to do that, I guess? Yes. Okay, so that solved that. Alright, let's see. Oh, yeah. I think we have to say result dot text size dot x equals to. Let's see. Alright, so final width, final h. Okay, so here we say if x is greater than final width x equals, or final width equals x. And then final h equals math.min. Oh, hold on, I'm getting a call. Hair's all messed up. Okay. All right, I'm back. All right, so yeah, this is, I think we're getting there. We're getting there. Okay, so the text size should be, oh, that's what I was looking for. The minimum or the maximum between global stack grid size. I know I'm doing this twice, but this might, we might end up, this could be less than this. Text lines could be 0, I guess. Well, I guess there's no point in doing this. We could just say that. Let the times grid size. There's an error somewhere? Oh. Okay, so this should kind of get us there. Not necessarily all the way there, but partially. Okay, so we're kind of getting there. We're kind of getting there. Now, we need to handle text wrapping. And this is, I guess, where I really ran into problems before, and where I should have kind of rethought the process. One, where are we? What are you printing out here? Don't need to do that. Don't need to do this. Okay. Yeah, text wrapping is always a pain. Yeah, I feel you. Definitely. So how do we want this to work? This could definitely work the way it is here. So yeah, I want the text to, sorry for doing that accidentally. I want the text to wrap horizontally. So basically, just kick it over. Now, there's a couple of ways to do this. Currently, I'm setting the size of the rectangle and then adjusting it as necessary. Ideally, I don't want to have to do that. Ideally, I want to be able to set the size of the rectangle or have the size of the rectangle informed by the texture, the final size. 25, 22. That must be maybe this line. 497. It might be this line. Okay. Yeah, okay. All right, so we're printing out. Okay, so we could just set the, how do we want to do this? Wrap width. That could just be an int. That's a float 32. Okay. Why is this a float 32? I see. That's why I did it like that. Okay. Okay, so this is the general idea. This is the general idea. So we have the text. Now we have nothing. Let's see if width. Yeah, where's the text, dude? What did I do? I'm not using wrap W. Where'd it go? Oh, maybe. I don't think this is the issue, actually. Yeah, no. Recreate. Y plus equal. X plus equal. Final H. What did I change? This is interesting because I didn't change anything about how the function works. I guess I must change this. Okay, let's go back a little bit. Yeah, okay. All right, so let's go ahead and change what we want to change here. The issue comes in I think what we want to do is we want to basically determine the size of the texture necessary to render the text. And then go from there. Well, I guess this could be a point. So for now, what we're going to do is say something like this, because I want to see if we can basically get it to work the way, work in a sensible default, which is basically if we don't pass a maximum size, then it will just basically draw the text to a texture as large as necessary. If we pass a maximum width, then it will basically set the width and then turn the height into what's necessary to wrap around. And if we set both, then it will just lock it there, which I don't know if we'll ever need to do that, but we'll see. We will need to do that. So let's kind of walk it through these possibilities. So I'm thinking that before we even render the text, we need to loop through it to basically determine what the width and height of the texture should be. Then we create the texture, then we actually draw the texture. So this goes up here. We don't actually render here. This stuff can be, this is fine, but we don't actually do this. We can actually make I guess a slice of rendering rectangles and glyphs. That way we can just like loop through and draw the glyphs at the locations where we don't have to really think about it. So we'll make a render pair. Can I do it this way? I think so. So we have a glyph and we'll have a position, or right, something like that. I guess this should be an F rect. And so we're looping through. We say, okay, x0, y plus equal the line height. Append the text lines. Yeah, okay. Glyph. Yeah, glyph is actually this might, yeah, I guess that might be fine. Glyph is this. Okay, we're setting that. Okay, so then we set the destination. Okay, and then we say to render is a slice of render pairs. We say to render pair right is our destination. Well, I guess that doesn't make sense because x and y's are already integers, so we don't get anything by making this a f rect. Okay. All right. Final width, final height goes up here. X and y is destroyed. Text lines in line up there. Okay. Final height. Okay. Okay, so this is the general idea. This is the general idea here. So once we're done with all this, then we actually recreate the texture using the final width and height. Then we go ahead and set the render target. Text lines can be up here. Right, yeah. I guess we could just use this directly. Make it simple. Okay. X, text size X, text size Y is set. It'll be here. Final H. That. Why do we even have a final H now that I think about it? Alright, and then we just say result text size X, result text size Y. And then we just loop through here and we just say globals.render. We'll just copy this. r.glyph.texture, r.rect, copy, source nil. Okay, so this is the idea. So now we can be sure that the texture size is always the same size. Like we don't have to worry about anything else. We know it's, you know, we're looping through and getting the characters, making sure they're in the right positions and all that stuff. Then we know how big the texture is to create, to work with. Don't know if this will render at anything at all. It does not. That's not a surprise. Let's see. $11, okay. Lem. You know what? Let me use the bathroom real quick. I'm thinking, and I am having my train of thought kind of interrupted by the need to use the bathroom. So I'll be right back. I'll be right back. Okay, I've returned. I'm back. Okay. So, the plan here. The plan. Okay. So, what we're going to be doing here also. There we go. Just a little bit more. Well, I guess either one is fine. Like either position. But yeah, this should generally be what we are looking for. Nothing's rendering. Let's see. Okay, so we're getting definite different sizes. That's good. Okay. We don't have to make a new variable for this. We can just put it directly there. Well, it definitely should be rendering to the texture. Oh, well, this is working. I think actually that's a quick render thing, yeah. But the button text is working. That button text at least. Yeah. So it's working, I think, a little bit. Let's see. The text size is being set. But yeah, there's no yellow boxes here. There's no text element. Create texture. Oh, I never set the rectangle size. Is that the issue? That is the issue. Got it. All right. Excellent. Flawlessly, not lawlessly. Okay, so this is better. We're getting there. It's getting there. Slowly but surely, bit by bit. Okay. So the current issue, and it's like, yeah. Okay. So the current issue here is when you make it shorter like this, it should be setting the expand width, the maximum size, essentially. You can always run in debug and pause that. Yeah, pause. See variables by pausing. That's true. I should probably do that more. So what we want to do here is do this. Yeah, set max expand, or really set max size. Something like that. Size. Point. Oops. Max size. Size. Height. X. Y. Height. Size. Okay. All right. So now what we want to do is when we go to here, we set maximum size, we recreate the texture. Width and height is this. Okay, cool. So now we go back to text renderer, I believe, and this is where we get kind of funky. This is where we get funky, guys. We want to know what the maximum size is. So let's start with that. I just want to make sure that's coming through. It is not coming through. Also, it's constantly rendering text, which is no good. Let's see if we can debug. Because basically, it shouldn't always be re-rendering the text. It should only do it when necessary. So if it's constantly running, that means that there's something going on that's bad. Create texture. That makes sense. Yeah, why is this running so often? Let's see. Oh, there it goes. Finally, debug finally updated or whatever it does. Whatever it needed to do. Okay. Alright, so we will debug it. Alright, so rendering is being called. It's recreating the texture. Why is texture dirty being set to true? If texture dirty. Yeah, dirty is set true here. Okay. $81 and $32. $81 and $32. $150, 32, 159, 91. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Is it being reset after render? That's, yeah, for some reason, like, buttons are being, let's see. Yeah, 150, 150, 32, 32. Like, why, if label.rectw is not equal to RW, which it is, or label.rectRH is not equal to RH, which it is. So I'm not sure why this is happening. $150. Like, these make sense. Oh, I guess I think I understand why this might be happening. When we go to here, we only want to do this if label dot max size is greater than 0. I think. Yeah, okay. But now it's not. Max size. Oh, I guess if it's less than or equal to 0. Otherwise, wait. If your maximum size is less than or equal to 0, then we want to set it to that. Okay. I guess if it's greater than 0, then we want to set it. There we go. I think that's better. Okay, we're making progress. This is no good. Max size. 0. What if we tried that? Yeah, better. Dang, it's like it's one or the other. Either it works or it doesn't. Yeah, there's definitely options that aren't showing up here. This works better, but it's still not perfect. It's also re-rendering constantly. Is the maximum size greater than 0? If the maximum size is not greater than 0, then we set the width to be this. Does that make sense? Maybe it doesn't make sense. Like, the problem, I'm pretty sure, is that the text doesn't have any rectangle size now. Why does it not have a rectangle size? I guess is the question. Is that causing a change and for it to be re-rendered each time? Yeah, like basically I want it to be where either we set the text to have a maximum size and it gets bounded to that, or we don't, more or less, or we don't and it just kind of draws at whatever size is necessary for the texture to fully display all of the text. Pretty sure the issue is that there's no size if max size is 0, essentially. We can confirm this. Here. 3112. Negative 112. Okay, so the sizes are consistent. This is negative 1. Let's try debugging it. If W is greater than the width. There's a button that's drawing. Let's wait. It's a button that's drawing. Open. Okay, so it's one of these buttons down here. Okay. So its width is negative 1. Why is the width negative 1? Width is negative 1. Okay, let's see. Let's just go to it. Sub page contents. Okay. Got it. Okay. All right, this might get us at least closer. It is closer. It's not perfect, but it's closer. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Oh, Carl says he has to go. See you next time. Oh, thank you very much for rolling through. Well appreciated. This is a little bit of a heck of a of a challenge. It's unusual, but it's coming together, I think. The texture size. Is it still running all the time? No. Okay. How'd this work before? Can I click here? Label rect width and height. Thin rect, active rect, label offset. Width and height is the render result image size. We didn't do that. All right. Better. Where is... Okay. That's better. Okay, okay, okay. We're getting there. We're getting there. Now we go back over here. We say, oh, this is running again. Dang it. Yeah. So it was 70, now it's 109. It was 52, now it's 102. It's 56, was 22, now it's 56. That's 84. $118.32. 256. 32. 224.32. So the menu system is drawing the button. So it's one of these buttons. And this isn't working very well. Okay, so fundamentally it's recreating the texture because the rectangle width and or height are changing, and that's happening because we're auto expanding. Is that a problem? I would posit no. So why do I even have auto expand on? Okay. Right. So now we go back to contents. Setback size. Let me just try this, I guess. All right, so at least we're getting somewhere. Now, the next thing we want to do is basically have this split up into another line. And that should be using this stuff. So if the character is an empty is a space, then end strings to index any. Oh, I see what I'm doing here. Yeah, I don't know why I don't just like something like this. Something like that. Okay. All right, so it is kind of working. Whoops. Oh, I pressed F to focus. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of working. It's not perfect, but it's kind of working. Let's see. All right, that's not bad. This is annoying. So let's see if we can fix that. That would be... highlighting. Oh, it's highlighting. There we go. Okay. We actually managed to make progress, which is kind of surprising. There we go. Now it no longer flashes while we're dragging it. That actually is kind of beautiful. That actually works really well. All right, I'm happy that I'm making some progress. Like I'm actually jazzed. I was like, this is kind of impossible. I was having a little bit of a crisis. All right. Okay. All right. So this is working. This is working. We need different like spacings for this. Which we should be able to do. Let's see, how do we do this? So we're positioning the glyphs. But we basically have to know in order for this to really work, because like, for example, view here, it needs to be centered. I think that's the actual problem, is that it's not centered. Same thing for file, it needs to be centered. All these buttons, the text has to be centered instead of left aligned. I believe that's the issue. And so what we need to do is tell basically what the alignment is. So maybe instead of making the render pair work the way it does like this, we can make the two render slice be a slice of slices. Because basically we need to know what alignment to use for each, like how wide the line is. Well, the alignment is the same for every bit of text rendered in a single call. So I guess what we can do is have a slice of line widths. Yeah, okay. Wait, no. Because we don't know, do we have the line? We do. We do, okay. So if we have the lines, then we can basically say for L in range result.text lines. This is basically a string. We want to know the width, which is... Can we do this in any other way? Yeah, okay, so it's just tr. tr.measure text. We want to measure L1. So that's the width. or actually this is the size. So this is the size. Well, the width could just be .x. Line width. Do we need to store the widths? I don't think we do. I think we can just basically get the width for each line. Then, knowing that we know how wide this is what we will do. All right, so I think this is we're starting out on the right foot here. I think what we need to do is then say to render length to render -1. Something like this. And then if we have a new line, then to render needs to append another render pair thing like this. Because if we do it this way, then we can loop, we basically know where the, you know what, let's do this the easier way. I guess we could do this the easier way, where it's less wasteful. We'll keep it the way it is, but we will allow render pair to be a pointer, and we can put nils in there. A nil means basically that's a new line. That I feel like is a little bit more efficient. So if we have a new line here, we can say to render equals pin to render nil. So we're saying, hey, there's a new line. Let's not like trip about it. Then when we loop through, we just say if r is equal to nil, then we just continue. We skip nils. But the upside of this is now we can say for each line, all right, so line width is like this. Line width equals append. Line width. Okay, so it's gonna be float 32s, and then we can just loop through each character into render and say the rectangle x plus, well, if horizontal alignment is equal to line center, then ch.rect x plus equal line widths, line index equal to 0, if ch is equal to nil, line index plus plus, and continue. And then if it's center, then we say line width, line index divided by 2. Give me the N32 version of that. And then otherwise, yeah, okay. Otherwise, if horizontal alignment is equal to align right, then it should be does that make sense? Oh my gosh. The final width is the final width of the texture minus the width of the line. If we want to align it center, let me break out a sprite for this. My brain is it's not melting yet, but it's kind of getting up there in temperature. All right, so we have a texture, right? It's this big. A line can be like this. It could be like that, and then there might be a line like this, right? That fills it out. and then another line like this. So if you're trying to center it, you want each line to be, basically they start here at the top left, right, at 0. You want to kick it over by half of the texture size, then kick it over by half of the line size in the opposite direction. So that's equal to the final width divided by 2. So the final width minus the final, the line width divided by 2. I think this should work. And then it's the same thing, but just without any divided by 2 by the end, and that should kind of do it. Oh, okay. So it's crashing, but that's fine. Line widths. Did this not? That there. Put this over here. Okay. I think we're there. We're kind of there. Is this actually running? Okay, it does seem to be. Alright, what's ch.rec.x? Can you tell me what ch.rec.x is? Alright, it's not constantly rendering, that's good. Seems like it's the same. Let's see. Before. After. Can we also get final W and line width? Line widths. Yeah, these are the same. Like the exact same. That's no good. So I think. Because final W is that's the. So. I'm close. I'm close, man. I'm close. You better believe I'm close. I'm close. I'm close. I'm close. I'm not sure if I'm close. I swear, dude. Making MasterPlan is such a pain. It's hard. Because it's just like, the longer I work on it, the more... I'm whining. I'm just whining. There's no point in whining. I think the issue is that the button label isn't getting bigger, but it doesn't need to be bigger. Oh, let me see. I might kind of have figured it out. Button struct, not the icon button. Where does it position the label? Button dot right. Okay, right dot x was equal icon source with 2. What if it was just like a bonk? Maybe. Okay, this works. Apparently, I'm not going to question it. This isn't centered. Yeah, it's not centered. It's definitely not centering things. But I can't tell if it's not rendering centered. Let's see if we can make it. If we can just force it. Let's say if you want to center it, it has to move over 50 pixels, just to see if it's responding to our demands. It is. Okay. So we can position things. It's just that the width. The final width. Okay. Okay. I kind of wonder if it would be better to make buttons not use labels and instead just draw directly to the screen. Because then they wouldn't have to. They have more control over their positioning. That might be a good idea. Yeah, text is just absolutely thrashed. It needs to be centered. Because I think the issue is the rectangle is here. The rectangle is here. But the drawing of the... Is that it? Is that the problem? Hold on. Maybe that's the issue. Let's see. Oh, I forgot. I think I forgot to do something. I think I know what I forgot to do as well. Because there's an offset. Yeah. I forgot to set the offset. My bad. So this might be correct, but we also have to say, let's see. Let me just grab it from here. It's still not working. Offset. Alignment offset. Right. Why did I do? Okay. Does let's see, does alignment offset actually do anything? Index to world. We don't draw it according to alignment offset. Okay. Then I think that's what we're missing. I think we have to draw it according to alignment offset. Let's try that. Okay, so I think alignment offset. Why was this? I see. Align left is 0 if internal line index is there. We'll just do it the manual way. If it's aligning center, then we want the alignment at offset X to be text size X. We'll say something like this. And if it's right, aligned. I guess actually it should be over, huh? Something like that. I don't think that's correct. We'll see. All right, this might give us something that's a little closer to the truth. This is closer to the truth. This is closer to correct. Closer. So if it's center aligned, then we want it to be, I guess we don't want to subtract. We don't want to subtract. I think we could just go like this. And maybe that. Let's try that. Closer, I think. Excuse me. I feel like I'm like on the right track though. I don't know what that means. Or maybe we don't actually move the characters. Maybe we just move. Yeah, I might be on the right track now. So we don't render the characters any differently. I feel like that's the right play though. I think that's important. I think the horizontal offset is important. The texture size or the text size. Let's see. Line center should be final width. So then I guess we can just do this because we don't need to switch anymore. All right. Better. Okay. All right. So let's see. It's all zeros. Oh, yeah, no, this won't work. Line width, line index. It's a float 32. All right, something like that. Better. So then it should be maybe what is it? Its final width is, yeah, so result dot text size x minus. Watch me bumble around at light speed. So that clearly didn't work. I think it's because text size x and max line width are the same, despite the fact that they shouldn't be. Or max line width is just 0. How is it 0? Max line width is 0 for character. I guess really we can just put this back here. Wait, yeah, something else is printing actually. Alignment offset is 0, 0. Oh, because it's left aligned. Hold on. Yeah, these are all 0, 0. Are we not setting it in here? Looks like they're all 0, yeah. So the max line width and the resulting text size are the same. Oh, okay. Okay, so I think what this means is that we can get rid of alignment offset because there's no alignment when we render text now. Okay. So then, when we draw this, I think we have to manually offset it. Which I think we should be able to do by just being like, hey, if label dot alignment with the align center, something like that. Wait a second. Like, hold on. Hold up. Alright, these are already centered, I guess. This one is just kind of weird. The Safe Project As is a little weird, but they're kind of already centered. Like, it's not centered in the rectangle, but it's centered in the texture, I think. Like, there's a discrepancy between the rectangle and the texture, I think. I think this is actually the way it used to... Or no, it used to be centered. It used to be centered. How would this fix? How would this be fixed? How would we want this to be centered? It's centered plus equal. I think these are the same value though. No, that's impossible. It couldn't possibly be the same value. Okay, I guess what I probably should have been doing is that. That might do it. Better. Okay. Yes. Okay. Not perfect, still not perfect. But we're definitely making progress. Did that? No way. Okay, no. Because I saw the text appear on the screenshots. I was like, wait a second. Did I like accidentally fix that? No, it just going to the visual. Yeah, okay. That explains it. Okay. So we're making progress. We're definitely making progress. The issue here, I have to go, but the issue here is vaguely solved. We have to align the text editing, but this is basically it. Do we ever use offset? We do not. Okay. So why don't I just repurpose that? All right, never mind. That's not gonna work. Man, but it's so close. All right, I'm gonna in the stream here because this is gonna be probably like another hour or two of work to get this working. Unfortunately, but I guess some days are just like that. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to support development, please check out the links in the description, and I'll have to catch you guys on the flip side next time because I'm just like I'm struggling, and it's gonna take some time. But it's okay. It's okay. It'll take time. That's fine. It's okay to take time. But yeah, thank you for watching. I've been SolarLune, and I'll catch you later. See ya.